Welcome to another Spring Anime 2025. I watched the first episode of every anime. Some of it was painful. But this season there's a lot of unique and quite frankly amazing titles out. They are categorized into broad genres and roughly ordered from worst to best. Why would a healer move like this? The production quality seems a lot higher than it should be for an anime about an underground healer with a harem. The first episode didn't have a lot of substance, but I'll give it another episode. Weak but OP person gets kicked out of the hero's party, quickly becoming the anime fantasy trope standard. But this time, he's hot and not vengeful. The unaware Atelier Meister just wants to make survivable money, so why is he getting fired from every job? Well, despite his combat abilities being G tier, his mana and crafting is out of this world. He just finishes jobs too quickly to stay in one place. This anime is for the power scalers of construction. Alright, stop me if you've heard this one before. Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, and Liszt. Start a boy band. Yep, that's the anime. Rich people like classic music. Rock just doesn't fit in. So what's a normal girl who can't even say Chopin right to do when she starts attending an elite school? Join some like-minded rebels and form the first rock band this campus has ever seen. Their teen angst will elegantly transform this stuck-up place into somewhere they can belong. Amazing music. Did you say Yuri undertones? Ever felt like your cat is an alien? Well, in Moo Moo the Alien, that's exactly the case. Surviving from a cat civil war, Moo Moo has crash-landed on Earth, and although he's not a scientist or engineer, he's trying to repair the ship. In the meantime, he shacks up with awkward college student Sakuruko. An added bonus to this anime is that they explain how household items work. I love that feeling of childhood friends reuniting. Morihito the ogre is forced to become the witch Nico's familiar. I think I've seen this before. Nico is prophesied to have a grave disaster in a year unless Morihito can protect her. Comedy focused with a bit of romance. It's on Netflix, so it's easy to find. Out of work? Have you considered working at a host club? At 3 minutes, this is actually pretty funny. Watch the new ex-businessman try to be the man every woman would dream of. Ninjas want to live a normal life too. But when Satako accidentally runs away from their hidden village with a group of other ninjas, she finds herself homeless and unaware of the ways of modern living. She meets an assassin, and in exchange for her ninjutsu to hide the bodies, they work out a deal. Animated by Shaft. When a weeb passes, they isekai into an overweight 5-year-old. He passed out at Comic-Con and was reborn as a royal. As a cooking and cosplay hobbyist, he changes from a rude, entitled noble to a kind child, helping out with chores, preparing food, and gardening. Strange, but the household appreciates him. His daily singing interests a goddess living in his rosebed and grants him her blessing, which unlocks his magic. He suddenly gets a younger brother who's going to have to assassinate him for the throne, but he can't help becoming a loving big brother. Animation is bad, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. Gray, the strongest king to ever exist, is reincarnated into a world of magic. Instead of being a tyrant, no one's trying to assassinate him, so he's just vibing. The beginning after the end, or Tebate, TBATE, is an adaptation from the web novel and webtoon of the same name. So far, it's interesting, but I'll mention something that everyone's complaining about, which is the animation. or the lack thereof. His child isn't his wife is cheating on him with his boss. They're also both stealing from him. So when Liam is isekai'd into his mecha fantasy, he brings generational trauma with him as he becomes the heartless villain he's always wanted to be. This time, he's living only for himself. Humans are locked in an endless war with demi-humans. Kai sometimes remembers his previous life, which gives him strange kernels of information, like onigiri and magic. Curious about magic, he wonders if he could make it happen here. And how do you change the dynamic from friend to lover? Yu likes making jewelry and has a unique friendship with Himari, who helps him sell his wares. She wants them to get married if they are single at 30. But when her old childhood friend reappears and starts hitting on Yu, it might look like she's gonna be third wheeling on the extra hotel chair. Sibling romance in anime is everywhere. So at least in this anime, the 7 siblings have clear boundaries. You're all adopted. After learning the truth, how will they handle the interpersonal relationships? Not love triangle, love heptagon. Want to escape your life and start it all new on an island? After his grandmother passes away, that's what Takahara did in what stylistically feels a bit like Angel Beats in visual novel form. Taking over her estate on the island, he befriends 4 different routes. I mean, girls. Can't tell you too much as an anime only, so we'll have to keep tabs on how it progresses. If you could get any animal trait in the world, what would you get? Some kind of bird to fly? A peacock for beauty? Sophia got a gorilla.
Leave society be a monkey. Leave society be a monkey.
Now, because of her rare strength, she is scouted by the Royal Knights to indulge in a beautiful reverse harem. I mean, lots of boys. This is actually really funny. Have you tried to do everything perfectly so you could get the approval of your parents? The Saint of Getonia tries so hard it ends up ostracizing her as she becomes the strongest saint to ever exist, but hey, she doesn't smile. So her fiancé dissolves their engagement and sells her to a neighboring country so that he can marry her sister. This has the markings of a villainous anime, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Man, I really like how this looks. It gives me a 90s anime feel reminiscent of Cowboy Bebop. Yes, okay, I'm thinking of specifically Faye Valentine. If anything, this is not your generic romance. In Kowloon, a district separated from the modern world, people like to keep things simple, and a romance sparks between 2 workers at a rental agency. However, the feelings between them feel familiar. From the first impression, it really seems like there is a lot hiding just beneath the surface. I wish I could say more, but I can't. And that's when you know it's good. From Doctor Detective to Rich Girl Detective, crime mystery is back since Case closed its last episode. What? The boy is still going? Reiko, a rich elite, has a secret life. She's a junior detective, and together with her eccentric inspector,
my dad totally owns a dealership,
and snarky butler, they solve crime. My only critique so far is the background animation is just a PNG. Imagine it looked like this. Every time you walked into a mall, sci-fi investigator Echika dives into people's brains to find clues for tough crimes. She's accompanied by her cheeky android Harold, Everyone has smart thread technology, which is very convenient, if not very invasive. Forget the transfer student trope. It's time for the transfer teacher, who's actually the main character, solving mysteries, time to shine. Stoic and rational, Chuzenji and his Watson Kana solve crimes disguised as the supernatural. So far, a better detective anime than the dinner table detective.
Megan.
She has a year left to live.
Huh?
Unless she can undo the curse placed upon her by gathering 1,000 tears of joy. That's basically 3 tears a day. Even as a promising apprentice of one of the 7 strongest witches, will she be able to use her magic to grant enough miracles? This one is only for Guilty Gear players.
You, ご留任 Johnny!
Because unfortunately, you need to know GG lore to properly understand Guilty Gear Strive Dual Riders. Characters are very obviously from a fighting game,
ソルバットガイ
and the animation, while jarring, swapping between 2D and 3D, isn't horrific, but I'm not sure if it does Guilty Gear justice. That's for the gamers to tell me in the comments. This anime is so niche, which is why no one is really watching it. Still here? Wow, okay. Compass 2.0 is the second anime adaptation from Compass, the Japanese cell phone MOBA game. It looks like fun, it looks like this, but it's only out in Japanese and Chinese, which is why you've probably never heard of it. The first animations were basically character trailers to give context. You can watch them all with translated CC on their YouTube page. I was interested by the character designs, but honestly only fans of the game would really watch this. Which is why. Remember when Goku had no idea what a woman was?
It's your balls, Bulma! They're gone!
We're back there, in this full throwback to old school, genre-defining anime. Shin Samurai Den Yaiba is an old manga written by Gosho Ayoma, the mangaka who made Case Closed, if you can't tell by the design. This story has a similar start to Dragon Ball, with a kid who was raised in the jungle who comes to Japan to prove he's the strongest samurai. There he meets his rival. Animated by Studio Wit, it makes the old style really pop out.
もちろんそれなりに努力はした
While One Piece was on hiatus, Sanji became a master swordsman. Now, an old teacher from a rural town, he slowly meets many of the students he trained up, and all of them are respected swordsmen. Due to this, he is forced to instruct the kingdom's knights, and is commanded by his dad to have grandchildren. Just like my dad. This anime had the strongest first episode in spring 2025. Kichingen Tosho's first episode is almost an hour long, which acts as an amazing prologue to the anime of what's to come. It builds up a strong foundation of Jinta's life and pulls you into the story in a way I haven't really seen in a long time. In a normal anime, this would have happened in a flashback, just before an intense climax to make you wait for that payoff. There's gonna be a lot of people comparing it to Demon Slayer because of Demon Sister, but the direction looks like it's going to be very different. This is an anime not to miss out on this season. Sad that My Hero Academia is over. Don't worry, because Vigilante Illegals? Honestly, I like this because the main characters are a bit older. Koichi, or Nice Guy Man, and Popstep are saved by their legal hero, Knuckle Duster, prompting them to become vigilantes themselves. Right, it's kind of in the title. This may reignite my interest in the franchise, as someone who dropped the main series around season 3. In a world where girls can travel to a girls-only dimension via a social media app where they can sing, dance, and do makeup tutorials, I can admit that I'm not the target demographic for this anime. You think you're slick with your 2D to CG transition? This is the only Mahou Sjoujo this season, unless we count Princess Orchestra. Animation and designs are pretty, but standard Mahou, well I guess witch in this case. It doesn't give a particularly unique start. She has Raise Zero turn back time powers when she undresses. It's very hard to make a first impressions video about this without being demonetized. Makine's a robot should be enough to tell you this is the etchiest anime this season. She's a robot designed to seduce people, and now she's living with a robot otaku. Well done for getting this far in the video. There's no way I can publish this in a short unless I figure out a way to censor the whole thing. Hinata did the Isekai stuff. He defeated the Demon Lord and he's back in Japan, leaving behind his harem and breaking his promise to get married to Mariabel, the Dark Elf. Looks like he didn't realize she was a yandere, as she carves away to his world to be reunited with her love. This one is drawing the line very, very close. This anime was made in AI. Two twins brave through someone's mid-journey project in an attempt to go viral. It's only 20 minutes and one episode, so I can't really say much without spoiling it further than the horribly unnatural feeling it already gives.
僕はこれを自分たちの仕事をつなげたいとは全然思いません。極めて何か生命に対する侮辱を感じます。
Eyebrows? Eyebrows? Satsuki? Satsuki? The photography club is helping struggling mangaka find inspiration for a new manga. They're out to capture new sites, playing with new tech, and just having a fun time. It's fun, cute girls doing fun, cute things. I want to go on a journey, but there's too many things in the way. Work, school, friends. It's hard to get started, but it's all about taking that first step. Mangaka Ruki Chika is rejected every time she submits a new draft. Looking for a change of pace and inspiration, she decides to go on a journey and gets addicted to it. University is a place where a lot of people want to change. That step and goal is different for everyone. And for Kawaii Mako, she's determined to become more confident. She loves food, and the Food Culture Research Club just needs one more member to get through their application. Mako hates trying new things for fear of failure, but she's garnered all of her energy to take that first step. I didn't think the daily life of a baseball stadium could be interesting, but Catch Me at the Ballpark delivered a funny and heartwarming start. A story of escaping stress, loyalty, and romance with the baseball beer woman is here, and better than I thought it would be. Forget the AI Ghibli craze. Watch something that actually looks like it. Anne Shirley, yes, from Anne of Green Gables, has her own anime. And as someone who unfortunately hasn't read the book or watched the movie, it's an amazing introduction to the story. Imaginative orphan Anne with an E Shirley is sent accidentally to two siblings. Will she be sent back to the orphanage or somehow find a solution in this beautiful countryside? I'd recommend giving this a chance. Being a horse girl means different things when you watch anime. Uma Musume is back with a spin-off, Cinderella Grey. If you've never heard of it, this is where famous horses are reincarnated as Japanese girls and run races. While that might sound stupid, animation and story in the previous seasons has been a lot better than what you'd think from that description alone. In this spin-off, we follow Oguri Cap, a silly country horse girl's journey. It actually has a lot of charm to it. What would you do with 30 days left to live? You just found out that humanity's been poisoned, and that's the timeline. Would you spend time with your loved ones? Riot? Well, this team is gonna find the scientists behind it and get the cure. You can tell in the first 2 minutes that this is special. You don't need to know the director to see how creative and fluid the movement is. I know I'm really glazing this, but if we look at this purely on the first episode, it's probably the best thing airing this season. Go watch episode 1 in Japanese, please. I almost didn't watch this because I thought I needed more Gundam lore. but it's set perfectly for first-timers like myself to absorb what I need to. Atmosphere is great, pushed by great animation and even better music, but before I get deeper in, I do think, because I'm extra, I'm gonna watch Gundam from scratch. Apocalypse Hotel is my favorite first episode this season. It starts with a pleasant hotel ad that cuts in and out of news of the world ending. I love that contrast. I love the end of the world. While humanity escapes impending doom, King Garo Hotel keeps its services up with its robot staff waiting over a decade for the return of humans. As melancholic as it is ridiculous, I don't want to give too much more away. And that's about it. I hope you're having a great spring so far. Thanks for coming from the shorts, from the reels, from the TikToks, wherever you're from. But this is it for now, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.